Halo 5 left us on a cliffhanger, a crazy one. The whole galaxy left at the mercy of a beloved but lunatic AI, Cortana, perhaps one infected by the logic plague as well. Now we're wondering, what the hell's gonna happen next? What has Master Chief and others been up to this past year and a half between the ending of Halo 5 and the beginning of Halo Infinite? Well, there's actually a considerable amount of lore that we could pick off and understand and learn from, and today we're going to fill that gaping hole. What happened between these two games? Let's go ahead and get into it. So speaking of a gaping hole, I have a big hole that I need to fill with appreciation for you guys. I just want to quickly say before the video starts, thank you guys for all the support, the comments, the likes. Just want to say thank you. I'm reading the comments and I love them, except for the comments that call me runt, of course. But let's go ahead and get into it. In the Halo Infinite trailer, demo thing or whatever, it shows subtly a specific date inside the Pelican, May 27th, 2560. Now this can only really be seen in 4K, but it clearly hints that the Halo Infinite story kicks off around that time, about a year and a half after Halo 5 where we're left off. What we're going to focus on today is what happens after Halo 5's ending all the way up to the supposed beginning of Halo Infinite, which, by the way, is now officially confirmed to be Halo 6, so as far as we know in this point of time, we're not skipping over a major game or anything. This is the next big chapter in Halo. The events at Halo 5's ending leaves the galaxy in peril. Dozens of colonies, several UNSC ships, and hundreds of AI have been compromised, leaving humanity pretty much defenseless. The date is October 28th, 2558, and humanity, the UNSC, is easily the most powerful galactic force that we know of after the Covenant crashes, and them basically are wiped out, defeated you could say, by the EMP and AI compromising UNSC warships and defense systems. Now there is only a handful of ships out there like the UNSC Infinity that have either trustworthy AI that did not turn to the created, or some ships out there just simply do not have smart AI specifically for this reason, that the AIs could, easily turn the ship on itself. The UNSC Infinity just narrowly escapes Cortana and enters slip space to escape, and Cortana at this point has already foreshadowed that she's gonna punish Fireteam Osiris, Dr. Halsey, and others she finds guilty for whatever reasons. And Cortana actually promises Meridian all will be dealt with in time. A day later, the UNSC arrives to the URS system to extract Blue Team, Fireteam Osiris, Dr. Halsey, and Palmer from Sankelios, and other UNSC forces begin to regroup to start a resistance against Cortana. Buck and Dare the same day travel to Balaho and discover that the Ungoi have already joined the created and are greatly benefited with powerful tech and factories given to them by the created, and were being actively helped by Prometheans. From this point onward, we can assume that the Grunts civilization is not only recovered after the Human Covenant War, but may technically be the most functional world, civilization, or military in the entire galaxy, due to Cortana's EMPs, of course. Officially, Earth and many other colonies have been subjugated by the created, as it is called. The Black Box, nicknamed BB, a smart AI built for Oni, is certain that Cortana will be victorious in her plan, so she says to Saren Osman anyway. Oh, also, the portal of Void is shut down, so the research team at the Ark is stranded with no way to return back home or to Earth. It is no more than a month after Halo 5's ending that Atriox, originally in the first place, arrives on the Ark aboard the Enduring Conviction and kills unsuspecting UNSC forces and researchers, which is where Isabel was left. After the slaughter, there was only about 8 survivors left at the Henry Lamb Research Facility. By January 23rd, the UNSC Infinity interviewed Spartan Palmer by a Spartan 4, which is basically nameless. Interestingly enough, he's actually wearing the rare Halo Skrill variant armor. The interview isn't long, but confirms that by January 23rd, 2559, about 3 months after Halo 5 ends, the Infinity is actively running from her, Cortana, and her guardians. And the interviewer said, "I'm confident that Captain Lasky is hoping something comes up that could help us get a step ahead, maybe turn the tide." A day later, Dr. Halsey was also questioned by the same soldier. By March 28, 2559 is when the UNSC Spirit of Fire wakes up and finds that they are in the orbit of a giant foreigner installation, the Ark, in which they discover the research team that had been there had been slaughtered by the Banished, and Isabel is the only survivor. The war kicks off with the Spirit of Fire crew, and the Banished begin fighting over the Ark. While trying to contact the UNSC, Decimus and his forces launch an attack upon the UNSC but are defeated. Not soon after, they are assaulted by the Enduring Conviction, in which Isabel and Jerome board the ship and fire upon the Ark, triggering the Sentinels to defend the installation and destroy the ship. Later, Atriox offers to spare the crew if they leave, but Cutter refuses. Professor Anders uses the control room's core and launches the majority of the Banished troops into space. The UNSC forces leave the ring, but Anders doesn't have enough time. The ring enters slip space on its way to the Sol system, but then is stopped by a Guardian, oblivious to the fact that the created AI have turned against humanity. And this all basically confirms that, yeah, at this point, Cortana is still in control of all foreigner tech. A month later, Squad Sunray managed to stop the Banished, whom had been planning to use a Foreigner Despair class fighter to destroy the Spirit of Fire. And another month passes when the flood outbreak begins to spread from High Charity onto the Ark, where many Banished soldiers are taken over by the parasite, where a full grave mine had actually almost arises as well, but is just in time stopped by the Banished. Sometime after, Yap Yap, the Destroyer, an irritated grunt, rebels against the Banished. And as far as what happens between 2559 summer and 2560 of the next year in May is pretty much unclear, as it gets pretty much pitch black in the lore. So that's about a year we just don't know anything in the lore, at least according to my research. As already suggested by Thomas Lasky at the end of Halo 5 Guardians, as well as Palmer in a data drop from Loot Crate, the Infinity is gathering their forces of important people such as Spartans like Blue Team, Fireteam Osiris, Dr. Halsey, and others stranded, perhaps the Arbiter. Now, a day after Halo 5, they did recover Master Chief and others, but there's certainly more Spartans out there and important officers left around the galaxy, left on EMP'd colonies that could certainly help in the upcoming war, or, well, now the current war, in the created war. So what has the Infinity, what has Thomas Lasky and Master Chief been doing for a year? Well, I think, with all the information that we have, I think they've been saving people and looking for an edge to fight back, some way to fight back against Cortana and her guardians in the created, which have pretty much the entire galaxy, humanity, by its ballsack at this point. I believe the Infinity has been slip spacing around the galaxy for more than a year now, looking for any new or old foreigner artifacts, maybe even visiting destroyed places such as Planet Reach with ancient foreigner tech that might actually be able to shut down Cortana or do something, anything. And it's clear that Cortana is willing to kill anybody, including humans, to get her goal accomplished, and using Prometheans, as many planets have undoubtedly been fully occupied by Prometheans at this point, especially Earth and those key locations, I think, by Cortana's dictatorship. Quite simply put, the dozens of Guardians Cortana already has is enough to render the entire galaxy limp. However, the Flood's reemergence could pose a massive threat to not only humanity and other species, especially now more than ever, but also the Guardians. Since the Guardians, as far as we know, are basically defenseless to the parasite, that could be a huge problem for the created. And as I mentioned a while back in my Guardians video, pretty much the only thing besides the Flood that could successfully take down all these Guardians is another Guardian controlled by someone else. Because the only thing that can really EMP and take down a Guardian is another Guardian. Now moving back onto the broader subject, Frank O'Connor had some interesting words about all this. He said, "It will continue the story from Halo 5 Guardians, but will be built in a way that makes it a good place to start your first Halo adventure. It will take place after the events of Halo 5, but feel new to new players. Remember how Halo CE woke you up in the middle of a war you had apparently been fighting?" End quote. So what does that suggest there? Well, certainly it seems that Frank O'Connor is alluding that the created war has already been started a while back, the moment that the Guardian EMP'd Earth. That's when the story kicks off, that's when the war starts off, and Master Chief has already been knee-deep in fighting Cortana across the galaxy for a year and a half. And God knows how many civilizations like the Ungoi, the Senkili, or the Brutes have come together united under the Created in fear and desperation to form even perhaps a new covenant along with humanity, whom had to, because of resources and famine and drought, had to give in to Cortana so that she could allow the factories and all the economy to be rebooted back up, in a sense, so people could survive. The reason why we start our journey as players, specifically here on Zeta Halo, may be because the interesting bit of this war starts here, because we can safely assume that no, Thomas Lasky, the Infinity Master Chief, no one has found anything close to defeating Cortana yet, at least until now. By May 27th, 2060, Master Chief, along with Marines, from what it looks like, finds themselves what looks like perhaps stranded, or at least had a tough time landing on Installation 07, a ring we once thought had been destroyed to an extent. Now, it's likely that Master Chief, the Arbiter, Blue Team, Locke, and others, as well as the actual Infinity and many other forces from other ships perhaps, are in orbit assisting the Spartans like Chief in unlocking Forerunner tech to use against Cortana. Perhaps the conflict here is when the Guardians show up, disable Infinity, with Master Chief just narrowly escaping and landing on this ring. And perhaps that is when it is up to Master Chief to find something or someone amongst the ring to not only help the Infinity, but to find a way to take down Cortana and the Created. Now, I could get way more into this later, and I think that would be appropriate for another video, but just for now, I'll leave it at that, just some, food for thought. So guys, did you learn anything new here in this video? Did you get any speculation of your own about what's happened or what may happen in Halo Infinite? And did I miss anything? Is there some lore that I don't know about that exists in late 2559 or early 2560? I really want to hear that down in the comment section below. I mean, if it's good enough, I might make a whole new video about it. But besides that, I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your theories and speculation down in the comment section below. I might grab your comments for a future Halo podcast, a future Halo club. Guys, thank you so much for watching. And again, I appreciate all the help for the past year. It's just been an amazing ride. We're going on to, upcoming to 8 years now doing this, and that's just crazy. So thank you guys so much. This has been Ron, and I will see you in the next one. Later.